And here we are. All right, so this is the second quarterfinal. We have MbL, who was first place in Group D. He got a bye to the quarterfinals. We have Villese, who was second place in Group... Oh, I knew I was going to get hung up on one. I think B.
Villese was Group C, I think, wasn't he? Was he B?
No, he was B.
No, C was Leary and Vinchester.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he was second place behind Hera. Villese had to fight through Capwatch. Capwatch almost beat him yesterday, but Villese won 3-2, and he is here now today. Villese is playing as the Chinese on Ravines, and then we have MbL playing as the Magyars, which is one of the last civilizations I would expect to see here. But I like the Magyars. I think they can be really good in late game, and they also can be strong in early feudal, which is important here.
I think they might be able to punish the Chinese a little bit, because if you just keep applying constant pressure with the Magyars, Chinese can struggle a little bit with transitions. So if you ever get into Villese's walls, they're pretty slow civ Chinese. Like, you need to get your walls down. You need to get your eco upgrades in. And there's definitely time windows that MbL can punish him in. But once you get to that mid game, if you haven't done significant damage, the Chinese are going to be really ahead on eco. And that's where you're going to start to struggle.
Yeah, I think the thing that's tricky with Villese, and MbL talked to me about it yesterday because he casted a series, was sometimes he can be a little too safe, and then sometimes he can play it too much like a rated game, was what MbL said. That's a very MbL way to say it. He's like, this is not a rated game. Why are you not taking your boar? That was him yesterday. So I think for Villese, he's going to have to be careful with MbL, because if MbL gets control of the game, he's not going to let it go. He will have a death grip on that control, and he is just going to be switching all over your base with scouts, sneak villagers, whatever it may be. So if he opens up early feudal here quite quickly and plays into scouts or archers or some form of military and gets off to the right start, I definitely do prefer the Chinese. But Magyars, they have the power spike with the cheap scouts and the free forging. Not to mention their late game might even be better than the Chinese with the recurve bow cav archers, paladins.
Oh yeah,
Hussar.
Magyar late game, dude, is right up there. Right up there. It is so deadly, especially once you get the Magyar Hussar. Like, not only those cav archers, but the Magyar Hussar is just a better form of Hussar. And once you get the tech for them to only cost food, it can be really, really dangerous. Also, the bonus against siege helps. The thing about MbL versus Villese, it's kind of like they're kind of two polar opposites, aren't they? MbL is just all over the place, and Villese just does his best to get to that third TC every single game. You know, like, he just wants to have the boom with some walls. That's it. Even to the point where I remember watching Hera against him, I believe it was tournament sets, and Hera was just punishing that fact. Like, Hera was playing fully open FC because he knew Villese would be walling up and playing 3TC.
Yep.
Like, he knew there would be limited amounts of pressure. So he can just punish them like crazy. And MbL is Hera's teammate, so maybe Hera has shared some of that knowledge with him. MbL does know Villese's tendencies, though.
I don't want to freak people out, but MbL did tell me that he watched some of Villese's rated games yesterday. And I didn't pry for information, but I've never known MbL to watch anyone else's
No, I've never
games.
heard that.
Yeah.
Dude, what?
So I was like, wait a second. He prepared by watching rated games? Which,
Oh, no.
I was like,
watch
whoa.
out.
Yeah, like, what type of monster have we unleashed upon the world?
Dude, he's evolving. It only took like 6 years.
Yeah.
He's evolving. Oh, my. But that could be, you know what, though? That could be a good thing. It could also be a very bad thing, because I can see MbL coming to the wrong conclusions after watching a few games, you know?
Maybe.
Kind of like that spring mindset where you just convince yourself that something is right after a couple games of analysis.
Well, he did pick Magyars last on his draft, and then players are normally going to look at what the maps are and then try and, at least if you're like me, write down on a notepad, this is where we want our civs to be played. Oh, trap!
Ooh, trap.
Oh, a little late there.
We almost synced up there. It's been a while since we've synced up. We almost synced up there.
The perfect time
There's
to
some
sync.
classic. Do you remember in NAC3 the most classic moment ever when Tato Walden Hera's scout, or Hera Walden Tato's scout, and we both synced up at exactly the same time and said exactly the same sentence?
I forget what the sentence was, but I do remember
It was
that
like,
moment.
oh, Hera walled him in. Exactly the same intonation, timing, everything.
Yeah. Well,
It's been a while, though.
we'll get there. I like how Villese is moving out, but I don't think he's going to be too happy with the fact that MbL's in feudal age is fast. 22 population normally competes with a 20 pop uptime with other civilizations. Chinese, of course, having more vills.
Mm-hmm.
MbL going 19 pop will give him a nice early lead. He's going to get a boost here. It might only be 1 or 2 hits, but I feel like those 1 or 2 hits could lead to future control over denying walls. Did you happen to see Leary's set yesterday?
Oh, dude, Leary in that game, I was so confused because he went up like 18 population as MbL is taking a big risk under the TC, but he is idling those villagers and he still has the HP advantage here. Leary went up like 18 pop and then built the stable with 1 vill. He didn't even prioritize getting the scouts. I was like, what is going on here?
The thing that really bothered me was how he ran into the TC fire when he was scouting. I was like, how do you do that on ravines? Now, obviously, MbL was trying to be cheeky, but I was like, it's the easiest map to know where your opponent's TC is. How do you make that mistake? But
dude,
look at MbL.
MbL's being super annoying with the scout, as we know he can, and Villese is trying to get the wall up, and he's trying to get greedy with that wall, man. People usually wall to this TC and then maybe wall in front.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw, I can't even remember who played against Leary yesterday, but we saw, yesterday, walling right in front of the TC and denying any sort of pressure coming forward. But Villese is getting super greedy. He has 3 villagers walling at the moment. You know, someone had brought up, Tristan, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Ravines is like a dried up houseboat.
Yep. Yeah, it's very similar in some ways and not in others, I guess, because the water obviously changes a lot. But man, I agree with you.
But if you look at the map, though,
yeah, it
looks
does
like
look
a dried
like
up houseboat.
Yeah, like if there was if that was filled with water, it would be very similar. I agree. But I don't agree with how Villese is playing this, Dave. Like,
no,
you have to go for the small walls here. You know, this is the Magyar window. Now, granted, if he does defend from the pressure, obviously, I think Chinese are the much better civilization in the mid game. But so far, so good for MbL. I like the addition of Spearman because he knows his opponent's going to add a lot.
What are you doing, bro? Why are you still trying to stubbornly wall this? This is so weird. And he's going to lose the second villager there. And there goes the vill lead from Villese.
Not to mention the efficiency is probably going to be off. I think this is the dream start for MbL. And we saw this earlier today as well when Viper played Yo. Yo tried to go for this crazy stubborn walls. I think it might be tournament nerves getting to people. Sometimes you try and do too much or too little. Especially when you have a civ like... I actually think people who have a civ advantage end up doing the crazier things these days. Because they will think, I just have to hold my civ advantage. Yep. If I do that, we're fine. And Villese with the last-minute quick wall giving me a heart attack.
Wall, bro. Really, really good stuff from him. And that villager at the front is now dying to Spearman. Magyar Spearmen are no joke.
And MbL's going to block like a madman, too. Oh, and he has the hill.
3 vills dead.
Yeah.
3 vills dead.
Dang.
Wow. And you can tell how much pressure Villese is under. Like, that mill foundation is just sitting there at the front, not complete, right? Like, it's just... He's got too many things to do. He's going for an archer range, but MbL already added one at home. And the archer is already in production. And look at that insane level of spearmen at the front. Like, it's going to take 3 or 4 archers just to clear up the spears, let alone the scouts and the archer follow-up from MbL. This is the power of Magyars.
So, obviously, you know, Daniel's not in Platinum League, but I think this is a funny quote to bring up. I once talked to Daniel about something, and he said, yeah, sometimes if you make like 3 spearmen, it's just GG. You're just dead. You're just dead. Then MbL's over here. He's a 7 spearmen. Like it's nothing. MbL loves counter units.
Are you dead because you made the spearman, or are you dead because your opponent made 3 spearmen?
What he's saying is if you overmake spearmen, it's a waste of resources and you just die.
Yeah, okay.
But
okay,
like, meanwhile,
tell that to MbL because he's gonna kill a 4th vill here.
Yeah,
and he's killing the outpost at the front with spearmen.
For MbL, it's all about control, right? And I think that's the thing that MbL does the best is controlling the game. And if he gets a lead on you, he's always going to control the game from here. And it's been a dream start for him. I know he was going to be a little bit nervous. He said the higher the stakes, the more nerves can come into play for him. But he won every single set in his group. He beat Nikov, Tato, ACCM, Dogal, and Bad Boy. Didn't lose to a single player, and now he's here against Villese.
The spearmen are in.
Dude.
They're hungry, dude. They're hungry.
Oh, man. And honestly, with 2 archers being there, this might actually end the game. Because those archers could whittle down those woodline villagers, and the skirmishers might not be able to comfortably even hit those.
And the scouts are still alive.
Yeah.
The scouts are still alive for the skirms, and he can't even engage spearmen versus spearmen because MbL spearmen are better, and now there's a hole into the wood line, and that lets the spearmen inside, and Villese is like, oh no, what do I do? It's a spear! Ah! He's running away.
And the archers, I love the micro from MbL. The archers are hitting vills until they're spearmen, then he hits the spearmen. He knows he doesn't have to kill the villagers. He just wants to hold the position, but obviously killing them would be great.
Another Vill dead. This is over, and it's gonna be at least one more dead. And Villese just calls the GG. And what a game from MbL with authority, dude. Great smooth transitions between unit production there for him. Even the farming eco behind military production. Stayed up to pace, and MbL, even with a minute of idle TC time, I mean, that didn't matter at all.
There wasn't a single palisade wall placed by MbL this game. The only thing that could be seen as defense was that one gate he tried to trap with in Dark Age. That's it. And that is not what you see on Ravines. And you also don't see Magyars on Ravines. You see civs like Chinese because they can get the walls down, and you see late game powerhouses with good eco bonuses. But MbL said, screw that.
Dude, that was a 17-minute game
on
with
Ravines.
7 villager kills.
Yeah.
But like, you have to ask Villese, what are you smoking? I know he's not actually smoking anything, but
he might be.
Like, why not just go for that wall? He might be. Why not just go for that wall to the left on that goal where the archer range is? Why not just go for that initially?
Yeah, I agree.
And then the scouts, maybe the scouts get in, but the spearmen certainly don't get in. The archers aren't sitting, in the back of your base, ranging your wood line. Why are you so stubborn with the stuff at the front? Did he think, like, I can lose 3 vills as long as I've full walled this off, and I'm going to win with Chinese?
I think you can go for that wall if you see what MbL is going for and have army to protect it. It might have even been a bait in Villese's mind because his civilization, he will feel as much better. But also look at the right side. 2 palisades and then that long wood line. Like, once you see that, you're like, oh, but I could keep going. I could keep doing this. And then you just get screwed over to the middle. I don't know. I think it's pretty clear from our point of view that MbL was going to be set out to punish walls, and he did just that. So maybe we'll have to go to a more wallable map for Villese. He does have Fortified Clearing as a home map for Game 2. No, I don't know what it'll go
Arena, too. That's a pretty wallable map.
All right, Game 2. Bohemians for MbL, and we've got Turks for Villese. I'm happy to see Turks. I think with the Bohemians, Burgundians being banned out and some of the other civilizations not being available on the drafts, this has made things more exciting here because Turks has always been a top-tier arena civ, Dave. We just haven't seen a lot of them in the group stage in this event.
I think they're better than people give them credit for, even on arena. Like, I think they have a lot of good matchups, especially against even a civ like Bohemians or Burgundians. I think their time window is just so nice with that instant chemistry to get the bomber cannons out, and you have the option of going into a super strong late game composition with those cav archers. Now, it wasn't strong enough to beat the Byzantines yesterday from Jordan
with 5 relics.
But like, dude, you know what saved? I was talking about it with my chat. You know what saved Jordan that game? The fortified wall with Byzantines. I'm convinced. He went up to 4,200 HP or 3,900 HP on his fortified walls, and Tato just couldn't get in. And he had time to drop, 12 stables, camels at the back, and take back map control. It was kind of insane, man.
Yeah, so, Hera and I were both like maybe champion against that trash, but then it's tricky because there's Byzantines, they can make cataphracts. MbL chimed in, though. He said if Tato went Bombard Tower, he's fine.
Yeah,
and I
Bombard
was like,
Tower,
wow.
Bombard Cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
that's
wow,
what
that's
I was
such an MbL thing because like no one goes for Bombard Towers except for MbL these days.
Yeah.
And that was surprising to hear.
But like, there's no way that was such an interesting game, right? Just the matchup there against Byzantines. The problem is that once your initial push fails, you have to tech into something else as Turks.
Yeah.
You can't outweather the Byzantines, even with 5 relics.
But I think you can probably outweather the Bohemians a bit, at least
yeah.
on this map more so than Arena because of the mobility. That's why I like the Turks, because you can use the Hussar spam on the sides, and you also have Cav Archers, which are also quite mobile. Bohemians have like 0 mobility. They have a sucky stable. Their unique units slow and chonky. They've got hand cannons, they've got infantry, and they've then got their Hufnitze. So MbL needs to push up the middle here. And that's what I expect. And I think Villese needs to be thinking about expanding. And maybe you can't do it because there's not really the best spot for it. And a lot of people like to build their second and third town centers on gold or stone. But honestly, I've seen enough situations where the Bohemians push up the middle so fast. where I would like to see the third TC on the sides a little bit. Like maybe, I guess he's walled now, but maybe near that gold on the right side of Villes's base. Because if you have a TC there with a bunch of farms, it doesn't hurt as much if you get pushed back.
Yeah. Do you want to see the Turks full boom here? I know Villese is going to do it, but do you want to see? Would you prefer like a 1 TC or 2 TC push, or do you think on this map you just always have to go for the 3 or 4?
I think it's just a relic game. If you get light cap for free, I think you just go for relics here. But I am curious on MbL's approach, because having had the conversation with him yesterday, it feels like everyone I talk to feels like just going Spearman is bad. It doesn't matter if you have Bohemian Spearman or not. Also, where in the world is MbL going with these Vills?
Is he gonna do the Nilly strat?
I think he's gonna go forward. And he's gonna go like Man-at-Arm Archer.
Did you watch that the game with Nilly against Mondry?
He was what, Turks, and he went Tower Rush, I think, right?
He tower rushed the poles, which is just. But from his mindset, MbL gets Loom at the perfect time to engage against this bear. From his mindset, he told me he had already considered the game lost against Mondry, an arena game. But the one thing that I really loved from that strategy is stonewalling Mondry in on both sides, and then funneling everything down the middle, and you basically get all the relics on the outside for free. I know Nilly got a lot of the relics in the middle, but even if you give your opponent 5 relics in the middle, you get 4 on the outside. And you have them walled in, and they're kind of stuck there, and you can expand and they can't.
Think about what we talked about.
I don't mind it at all.
Think about what we talked about with Villese. Kind of know what he's going to do every time, right?
Yeah.
He's going to play the meta. He's going to go scouts. He's going to go light cap. And then also, we feel that just straight Spearman play, especially on a map that actually has more areas as Villese scouts this forward, we don't like straight Spearman play. We don't think it's really that successful, nor should you maybe go scouts with a civilization that doesn't excel with that. So MbL says, okay, I'm going to turn this into a different game, and he's going to go Man-at-Arm forward. He will be a little late with a potential tower, but I think we'll see, or sorry, archer range, but I think we'll see a tower, and Villese now has to add more walls.
Villese doesn't have Loom either. So there's a window here that MbL can go for that tower, and it's going to be super difficult for Villese to wall behind because he has no Loom. And I don't know if he like consciously knows. If you were to ask him, he would say, yeah, I don't have Loom. But I don't know if he like in his mind knows that he doesn't have Loom.
Yeah.
He might lose villagers carelessly.
Well, he did queue it. I think what he's doing here is correct. You just add another layer, and then right before the tower goes up, you pull back. But here's the problem. These fast castles that these guys go for these days, they are to the villager specific, right?
Yep.
So if you have to do anything else, like even walling with 2 more villagers here, you have to build anything like a tower, your fast castle is kind of ruined. And now Villese could lose his scout as well.
Yep.
So I'm surprised we haven't seen people do this more on this map. I think what Nilly did in the Gold League was something that I expected more in Platinum League. Like, why not do this? This is perfect, and then you take control, and then who knows what the potential is in the long term.
And especially if you kill your opponent's scout there when they're trying to distract you, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's massive for the relic battles, especially against Turks. That can be a light cap right away, and here comes Loom upgrade as Villese tries to go for a wall behind there. He's about to lose a Vill. He does lose a Vill because of no Loom.
Oh, that was a really risky play there. I thought he almost got away with it. But okay, so now he's got Loom in. And he has to add an archery range, and he has to add tower, and he had to make a mining camp on stone. So this is all
and he
amazing
wants to go to
MbL.
castle.
Yeah,
and he wants to go to Castle H. This is going to be super, super ugly. MbL is trying to get in, but the quick walls are in from Villese, and MbL just simply moves over to the other side, and Villese is going to have to defend over there. He says, nice tower, bro. And he's going to head over.
Okay, the thing that MbL has to be really careful of right now, though, is that he doesn't have all these villagers trapped. He's coming in again on the front. He's got another tower with more villagers trying to come in from the other side.
Nice.
And now he's in on the mill because Villese is distracted right now. What in the world is this strategy, MbL?
I like the fact that Villese added the archery range there because he definitely needs it.
Yeah,
He's still holding on to his resources, thinking like, maybe one day I can click up, you know? But it's going to be super tough. Actually, if he built himself a blacksmith, he could unqueue those vills, but he doesn't have enough wood even for that.
I know it sounds bad, but I honestly think he should forget about Fast Castle I think you have to accept real early that you need to just get your eco upgrades and play this out into a longer feudal. Because if another 2 minutes go by and you haven't clicked up yet, MbL is going to catch up to you in no time, and MbL is actually investing into a pretty solid economy, which is a weird statement when he has 8 villagers running around the map. But, Villese makes a stone wall. This is what I mean. You could get trapped here if you're MbL.
Oh, he garrisoned over the what is this? What is this? Is that a siege tower or an actual tower?
I didn't know you could. That shouldn't be possible. That should not be possible.
On a diagonal, it should, but not like that. Not like that.
So MbL gets bailed out there. Villese, that's his second straight set in a row this weekend where he's going to say something to the devs about that. I mean, I even think the diagonal tower hop is something that hasn't worked recently.
That is, wow. MbL gets out of there, and Villese is just typing the message right now.
Oh, God. But, like, imagine, though, if those villagers are trapped, MbL potentially loses 4 villagers. Like, we're 4 villagers is a massive deal. Not to mention he is trapped with the other 3, which is what I was going to say originally.
Really good.
Yeah, so this still could be good for Villese in the end. He's now going to try and wall this in. By the way. Yeah, it's true.
Villese is still holding on to his res, like maybe one day, one day I'll get there. He's going for a blacksmith now, so he's kind of realized and he's committed.
I think that Villese needs to pull Vills here. Those are 2 very weak men at arms. Just pull Vills. No, just fight it. Just fight with like 4 Vills with your archers, and I think you're okay.
Oh. Dude, MbL would have the whole wood line, his farming eco, the berries, everything going towards this if he were in Villese's position right now.
Yeah, just send the Vills. But it's the pressure of it. You're not able to check the HP like the casters are.
Yep.
It does feel a little bit unnecessary, and I think MbL is just happy that he's forcing more reactions.
Yep.
He's actually going to try and open up that wall again, too, with that scout.
If he does open up that wall and leaves with the Vills, he should wall it in. He should totally stonewall that.
Yeah.
100% on that side.
But again, like, your opponent has 3 villagers and 2 skirmishers. Sending a couple of your own villagers would have been fine there. And, okay, scout actually goes down for MbL.
What is that tower?
This is I want to stay here as long as possible without dying tower. Just MbL things.
Maybe he's building a tower there to protect the villagers that are going to attack the wall. That's the only answer I can come up with.
Maybe.
What?
I mean, again, Villese could kill those villagers right now. Just send a couple of vills to attack MbL's original tower. And then just, I don't know. But MbL did wall up at home now. And I saw him at a market nice and early. He's got plenty of gold, so I could see him buying food. And in the end, I guess this will end up being a close game heading towards Castle Age. But obviously, Villese has played more defensive of the 2.
I would just, I'm going to say it again. I would love to see MbL even just send an extra villager forward, wall the one side where his tower is, and then break through this wall and wall that as well. Stick Villese into this nice little funnel in the middle. He can get some of the relics from there, but you get all 4 on the outside. And he has to break through your walls.
I think MbL wasn't... I think he made a mistake losing his scout, attacking that wall. If he would have been using that scout, geez, he could have even put it on auto scout.
Ooh, look at Villese going around the other side.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love this. But MbL is a tower there where you don't expect there to be a tower.
But again, am I wrong? Can you not just send 4 villagers after that tower foundation that's not walled and then kill all of this? Yeah.
You 100% can. Look at the Castle Age times, by the way.
Yeah, pretty much the same. It's like nothing happened.
Yep. Except
everything
neither
happened.
Player has horse collar or wheelbarrow, any upgrades whatsoever. They're just kind of bare bones eco.
Watch MbL try and hop into this tower. He's like, if it happened once, it could happen again. But yeah, he'll lose his ranged army. He'll lose the tower, and yeah, the villagers are just...
He's gonna... Yeah, this is the only solution here. You make a house wall, so you give yourself some space to attack the wall and try and escape, but that's just a waste of wood at this point.
Now, little do we know that Villese doesn't even care about killing the vills. He just doesn't want MbL to make houses, because he knows how dangerous he is if he completes houses, so... There he goes. And yeah, MbL's super stubborn this game. Eco KD 1-1 still, which I think we could argue shouldn't be the case by now. I think MbL should have lost more. I'm curious on if MbL will build a forward castle here, because he's going to have a lot of stone. He's now adding a stable. I think MbL is going to go for a knight for map control. into a forward castle, but what do I know?
Bills are still alive. And
Yeah.
now Villese chooses to engage with his Vills. MbL will likely go for another house behind that, or just lose these, or maybe try and trap them in. Who knows?
But I think
You could trap them in here. That'd be funny.
like we have seen various instances now where Villese, when it gets chaotic, might not know necessarily what to do, and MbL is the master of creating that chaos. So I think this is a perfect game plan from MbL to just make things be as awkward as possible for his opponent all the time. Like the light cav addition here from Villese, as he should be able to kill the units and should be finally the end of all this.
Yep, villager dies.
MbL is just actually making scouts to contest for the relics in the middle. He has tons of stone still, and so does Villese, so we could still see a castle maybe. What a messy game, dude. What a messy game. Like, even Villese's second TC now, I hate it because you can't even farm around it because you place your houses there during the chaos.
You can farm on the one side if you delete the palisade walls.
Yeah, that's true.
Might be okay. And there's the monastery right there from Villese, so he's going to start contesting relics. Should have the advantage here because his scouts get upgraded to light cav right away. MbL's going to have to invest into that. And MbL goes for the monastery on the outside edge. Now, as he explored all of this, he's seen one relic down there, so he can get that one. Also, he can make spearmen from the barracks in the north, which he's going to send all the way back to his
He's just going to
base.
send all the spears home right now. I agree with you. If he would have had... So, what did he go with? 3 villagers originally. Okay, so if he uses one of the vills to wall that, and the other 2 run in and do whatever they just did, I think he's in a much better spot. As well, a villager on the right side, especially if you got a forward wall down, it would mean that the light cav were kind of restricted in where they can go.
Ooh, Villese should have never let him get that relic in the middle.
Sorry, I missed that one. Yeah,
MbL
yeah,
just
maybe.
snagged it. He had light cav out there for a long time. He should have never let him get that. But MbL gets one. We got
right.
Spearman at the back, pushing away that light cav from Villese, which is kind of out of position. And MbL is now going for the relic on the bottom. So that's going to be 2 relics for MbL already. Villese just queuing the monks right now. Actually, no, he's already got 1 relic on the way. Okay.
MbL thought there was a hole when there wasn't, so he's bringing the spearman back out now. But yeah, he is walled at home. We are kind of in the same situation we thought we would have been in a standard game.
It's funny how this happens. Right?
Yeah.
It's funny how this happens.
So we just got scouts and light cav. And again, I would normally prefer Turks here. I think the longer we go towards late game, I would prefer Turks.
Second monastery for MbL. And he already got fervor too. So his vills are going to be a little bit faster.
Dang.
And the monastery is on the outside. I like this. Instead of putting it in the center there. Actually, no, third monastery for MbL. Never mind.
Dude, is this
Yikes, dude.
old Bohemians when the monasteries were 75
Whoa.
wood?
Hey,
Dang.
hold on.
Dude, it was so busted, but I was
It
a
was.
beast with Bohemians when those monasteries were cheap.
Dude, one of my favorite strats of all time, I think, was Inundation in WWC. The, 5 monastery YOLO play.
In the middle.
Oh, that was...
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was busted, but it was fun to watch.
It was
really
fun to
was.
watch. Oh, look at MbL with the scouts. Great awareness from him. He should be able to kill this monk. So in theory, MbL should end up winning the relic war, right?
He's in. No, he's out.
He was going to, yeah. Also, don't tell me he's going to get another one now. Villese, you've got to
no.
be... You know those scouts
nice,
are out there.
Nice dodge there. The man pulled a pump fake and went the other way.
Also, big fan... it feels like it's all I talk about these days, but I'm a big fan of seeing early fervor and early sanctity. Sanctity probably not so much in this case, because scouts and light cav are just going to get the kills anyways, but especially with the Bohemians, I like getting a fervor upgrade.
I wonder if MbL... He's got 1 skirmisher in that archer range at the back of Villese's base. So Villese has to be... Look, he's now going for the houses back there.
True.
Every time he looks at that, he has to be a little bit nervous, right? And MbL's clearly playing mind games with just the flag on top there. But I wonder if at some point he starts adding something in there, like
Hand
even
cannons,
on the way to
maybe.
Imperial Age or something. Yeah, exactly.
That is something, and it's tough, right? Because I think you have to wall it in, but even if you wall in the range, they can just create units and delete their range, and then suddenly...
Hand cannons get through the palisade wall, you delete your range and you're out, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
And Villese is just farming around it. He's got the towers there, which is something.
Well, I want MbL to snipe the farms with the skirm. That's what I want to see. I don't know why this is the case, because it's not the case with other building foundations, but just in case those don't know, when you place a farm, there's 1 HP. So you could snipe someone's farm with the skirmisher or any unit, really, because the lowest amount of damage you do is 1.
You can idle a farm if a villager is working on it and you attack it. That's the dumbest thing ever. I hate that so much. It makes sense. It honestly makes sense.
It does.
Because if your farm was being attacked, you wouldn't be out there working, right?
Exactly. You'd just be like,
But the mechanic is so annoying.
Yeah,
really
Viper
is.
said, Viper and I were talking about it. He goes, it doesn't really make any sense. And I'm like, but we also place like partially built houses to stop entire armies of paladins. It's like,
yeah, but you can't make that argument to Viper. Don't take away his
True, I know.
Dude.
I was just like, there's a lot of things that, are just Age of Empires logic.
MbL's going up to him. Chemistry coming in already.
I like that too.
And we'll see once chemistry comes in as Villese goes and walls in the archer range now. I think MbL can get on the corner though, but we'll see once chemistry comes in whether he queues up a few hand cannons there. His food eco is not looking like the greatest. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. I think something that's critical for MbL right now is to wall the sides, as we've mentioned a bunch of times, because especially in that left corner, he's got 3 TCs, and that is just prime Hussar rating territory. You have to make sure that is not a possibility for your opponent, but Villese is going to push forward, as is MbL, so we'll see the instant chemistry for Turks, and then the early chemistry for the Bohemians.
Yep, it'll equal out. MbL's faster to Imp, though, so he'll have a bit of an easier time window there. However, it is light cap for Villese, and it's only scouts for MbL. Villese is getting dangerously close to that castle with these monks.
There's the siege workshop. So that should tell Villese exactly what this is going to be. And he's
oh yeah,
because
there was
siege workshops.
There was, as if there was any confusion.
Oh,
You're
big
playing
confusion.
against Bohemians, right?
Now, obviously, he's just like, please don't be him faster than me, because he likely has chemistry, and chemistry being in faster lead to faster bomber cannons. But honestly, Turks, I know we're probably not going to see it because artillery is kind of expensive, and for some reason it costs stone, which is a bit weird. But Turk bomber cannons could actually compete if they get that +2 range. So I wouldn't mind that.
I think MbL, like, this is 4th time we said it, but he definitely needs to wall the sides, because when you're Bohemians fighting up against Turks, Bohemians don't really have that mobility at all. And keeping your sides open like that, I think, is a big risk. And it's such an easy thing to do, right? Especially if you have stone lying around. He's got 13 on stone right now. Already has 2 castles up. I think it's just smart. All
right, so now Villese is in Imp. So now he should immediately be queuing bomber cannons, and he does. Also, I mean, something that MbL is doing a really good job of that is preventing Villese from going to the sides is just pressuring, right? Like, he's building up for a killer push. It's hard for Villese to have the presence of mind to send a few Hussars over there right now, but I still feel like that'd be so massive, even just 4 of them. Also, that archer range is annoying me. I keep looking at it. Okay, there are the bombard cannons. Hoofnitz is on the way already for MbL?
Yep.
Dang, that's really early. He's skipping Halb. He's skipping all his
He
blacksmith
sold all his
upgrades.
stone to do that, by the way.
Wow.
And artillery doesn't cost stone anymore, by the way.
Really? I thought... when did they change that?
I don't know, but my chat... Oh, I shouldn't believe my chat. They said it didn't cost stone, and I'm inclined to agree with them. Also, Hoofnitz is coming in on that forward siege workshop.
Okay, I have someone saying it doesn't cost stone anymore. It used to. So they changed... See, I get confused between what's being proposed, like what might change, and what actually changes.
Oh, that Treb at the front. Look at how many bomber cannons are here now from Villese and the siege workshop, bro. That's the
No, MbL!
MbL!
Why would you? Oh my god! And he's okay.
And
So he cancels it and he switches it to the one which is between his castles. Oh my god!
50%. It's such a long upgrade too. Oh my goodness.
And that is so bad.
And the Cav archers have a ton of HP. Like, they can run in if he gets enough of them and snipe those bomber cannons. We look at the army from MbL, it's simply just not there.
He had to sacrifice a lot to get to the Hoofnitz upgrade.
Artillery!
Nice.
That was a big shot, though, from his bomber cannon. He gets another good one, takes off HP from 3 bomber cannons from Villese, but the castle goes down. And now his Second Hoofnitsa Siege Workshop is now the closest building to Villese.
It's just gonna take forever, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's as bad as like going imp in a TC next to trebuchets, what MbL just did. And the Cav Archer play, as we talked about at the start of the game, will end up being very strong for the Turks, and there's not a whole lot that Bohemians can do.
You can do it. Come on, Trep.
Nothing.
Oh, so close.
Now is where a couple stables in the north would do wonders, because MbL is so... I mean, it's not necessary, right? I think MbL could still die to this, but he's so far on the back foot that if he gets traded anywhere, he's just simply not going to be able to deal.
Hoofnitsa 8 seconds, 7 seconds. How many is he going to have, though? He's got 4 in the queue, but the Cav Archers keep coming in. Here's the repair villagers, though. Out repairing the damage. There's Hoofnitsa right there. Almost lands a big shot on the bomber cannons. MbL trying again.
And I love...
Didn't do any damage.
I love sacrifice... Oh, big shots. Big shots. Villese needs to get out of here. Oh my god, they're so weak. They're so weak. Maybe MbL's got a chance, Dave. I mean, if he keeps the castle up and he can get a bit more support out, that's a start.
Villese is selling his life there for gold. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Just took up my entire screen. And now we've got... Well, Villese is going for stonewalls. He's the one that's going to stonewall up in the north.
Wild. I mean, he's got the edge in the middle right now. But he does have to be concerned because, and both players do, because these cannons can get out of hand fast. The difference, of course, is one person has the range, the other person has the damage output, and that should be an easy snipe, or 2 maybe for Villese. So worth it. Even if he loses half those Cav Archers, I think it's worth it.
He won't. He won't.
The Pahi's in, by the way. 90 HP,
Yeah.
heavy Cav Archer about to be in, so 100 HP.
There's the Hussars in the north now. And MbL now might, with that first Hussar raid, it's only 4 Hussars. He might be inclined to wall on that top side now. But knowing MbL, he might actually play it super open. As
He might
loses
also
2 of Nitsa.
Just call the GG, too. Because this is bad, man. His castle's going to go down so fast. Look how many bombard cannons Villese has. And yeah, with the raid, so now he has to react, and he's not able to react right away because of everything in the middle. And he
with
loses his
artillery
castle.
on these. Oh my goodness. Dude, my man has 10 bombard cannons in the middle with 14 range, and MbL's just like, yeah, GG, I'm not fighting that.
Well played. Considering MbL did get a little fortunate with those 4 villagers escaping earlier, I am quite happy because I didn't want a situation where Villese has to type up like, hey, why is this happening again later?
Yep.
Yep. Because I think that MbL got lucky to not lose like 6 vills in
7.
Feudal Age.
He would have lost 7. Yeah.
Yeah, like it could have been so much worse. Now, I'm not saying I don't mind MbL's plan. I thought the plan was actually quite good because it didn't allow that easy game for the Turks. But in the mid game, it turned into light cav versus scouts and then pushing up the middle anyways. And some redemption for the Turks. I think they actually also get the tech redemption. But I mean, you know, actual redemption for Turks, showing people what they're made of. They're still a beastly arena civilization, and their cannons are still cannons to be reckoned with. So well played there. Happy to see Villese
I think,
respond.
I'd like to see how that game panned out if MbL didn't lose the Siege Workshop with the Hoofnitsa in it
Agreed.
at 50%.
Agreed.
That adds another minute onto trying to counter, and Villese can just keep building up the bomber cannons. But Villese, I mean, after he lost, he lost 3, and then he got those 3 bomber cannons really wounded, and then immediately sold the barn. Literally all his wood, everything, and queued up 7 more immediately. So that was a good play from him.
Yeah, his macro was also really good there. It's just like a switch flipped. His farming eco was much better than MbL's. He didn't have as much gold and stone, but a lot of civs really can't when Bohemians get those gold mining upgrades.
He got that
free.
3rd TC, bro. He gives him a power boost. He got that 3rd TC up.
True.
Villese is insane. If you let him just sit with his eco and with walls, Villese is incredible.
He actually ended up on 5 there, which is crazy to me. But okay, so that makes us a bit more of a series than the first quarterfinal, and I think this will continue to get more and more competitive. Les ties it up. MbL's got Arabia and Arena as his home maps. I'm going to assume that he will go for Arabia, but he did pick Arena, so he's got to play it at some point. It honestly is so infuriating. I played MbL once, months back, and I ended up losing, obviously. But it was a good competitive game, and I was like, wow, I put up a decent fight. I rewatch it, and like in Dark Age, he's tabbing out to finish a chess game, and then like in Castle Age, he's looking to see what other high-level players are in queue, and I'm like trying everything I have, and he's like, okay, well I gotta kill this guy fast, and then we'll have Dogao in queue. It was so annoying. But anyways, polls for MbL on Arabia. Not something we expected when we have Arena on the cards for a future home map for MbL. And then we have Villese playing as the Mayans. So, I mean, Mayans are great on Arabia. That's established. Poles, I feel, can be great, but you have a lot more work to do.
Yeah. I like the map for Villese in one aspect, in that he has the gold and the stone at the back, and it looks like you can get that wall down. But that's a big surface area to defend at the front of his base. It is wide open, and the berries are kind of in an awkward position too. MbL, on the other hand, has the forward wood lines, which could be a pain, but they also help with the walling, and MbL could get away with quite a nice little wall here. I can't see the egg shape that he might want to go for, so maybe he's going to opt for the big walls.
Yeah, I guess we're already talking about walls, right? And so
well,
the
it's poles and Mayans, of course. We're talking about walls.
Yeah, exactly. But as I think about it, like Mayans, it makes sense. You play into archers and defense, in towards archer numbers. With poles, there's so many specific things that you need to do. You have the farms that have to go in a certain area. You have stone that you might want to take, so you can get stone and gold. But that might not always work on Arabia. So poles are not a civilization I was expecting here from MbL. And I don't think he's really on to the new like Vil Rush meta that's starting, or the whole like 19 pop tower rush with poles thing, which I think is actually a bit underrated. So I don't know what he'll do.
The one thing that I like MbL with poles is that he's never been afraid to defend with towers. Never been afraid to do it. He's actually kind of like driven the tower defense kind of meta. It's not really a meta, but like having that as an option, right?
Yep.
Having 5 or 6 watchtowers all around his eco in late feudal age to defend, and then just making his way up to castle. And whenever a raid comes in, he plays pretty open, has a tower to defend there. And poles do really well with that because they can gather the gold while gathering the stone. So I think that lends itself towards his kind of defensive capabilities. And he might actually wall in front of the berries here to the TC, wall to that wood line, and then leave the stone and the gold exposed and go for tower defense on that side.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what military do you play into? Because your military only gets really strong with poles after that unique tech. Like, that's what freaks everyone out about the poles. And that's also on the back of having good farm upgrades and good farm numbers. I love the scouting from MbL. So check this out. Go to MbL's vision for a second. So he went forward and he saw 2 houses. Normally that's where the barracks goes. And then look what Villese did. When he saw the scout was there, he actually switched the barracks over to the right. MbL's come home now to push in his deer, but that might tell MbL, I didn't see a barracks. I'm not going to be drushed here, but the militia will be coming over anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen the eagle from Villese wandering around your base. You'll have to wonder why his score is that much higher than yours once the militia come in. So maybe MbL will be a little bit wary of what's happening, and MbL is going to go up 20 population here. What is going to be the play for him? Is it going to be scouts here?
Interesting, we're seeing 3 militia from Villese. That's a bit old age. You do have to also collect 10 gold from one of the gold tiles to do that with Mayans after you research Flume at the start. So this tells me that maybe Villese will try and go full wall, which, surprise, surprise, Mayans and Villese. But look at MbL right now. This is a very, very big moment in the game. He's looking for the barracks. That's where the barracks would normally be. Will he see one?
Ooh.
Oh, yep, he's checking. Yeah, and that should tell him that the drush is coming.
That's just, it's way too early.
Yep.
Yeah, if it was a flush or a feudal age rush with Mayans here, that barracks would just be going up right now.
Yeah, or he'd see a flag because there'd only be 1 militia in there.
Exactly.
So he should know, and he is poles, so his villagers do heal up, but he's not prepping any walls at all here. So I don't know if he does know.
The militia are coming in. MbL will just, it's MbL. He just fights this. He doesn't wall it. He just fights it.
Yeah, again, he's poles, so his villagers heal, but he could still lose 2 villagers. They don't heal that fast, and MbL saves that one.
Oh my god. Does he save this one? No. Loses that one. Scout is coming back, though. He's about to be in feudal age in 25 seconds. Scout will get stronger. He loses a villager in exchange for 1 militia. And Feudal Age is on the way for Villese.
Yeah, I think overall that's worth it for Villese. The other big thing here is where MbL sends his scout. Because if MbL leaves his scout at home, instead of denying any walls or killing any villagers right away, I think that it's another win for him, which is why MbL's moving out right now. But he still could lose another villager. These Eagles are no joke.
He's going to wall it in.
Oh, my God. That was so well
the
played.
double, dude. Look at them. They're just healing side by side. Hey, man, how's it going? Just healing up.
Oh, they were synchronized, too.
Yeah.
But like, now that does affect your lumber camp efficiency, right? He does have a lumber camp on the other side, but notice MbL is not going for a stable. He's not going for a range. He's just going for eco upgrades. And I don't hate that idea, but obviously, so far so good for Villese. Should have a 2-villager lead because he started with 1 extra one and got a villager kill.
Spearman defense against Mezzo for MbL. Love to see it.
Loves the spearman.
There's the stable right there, but he needs the stable, and then he needs wood for the farms around the full-work, which will be harassable by the militia. So it's going to be a little bit ugly here for MbL, but he's only lost 1 villager. And he might even pick off a villager from Villese here if he gets the spearman scout combo at the right position. And he's going to delay the archer range, which will actually kind of hurt Villese a little bit.
Yep, that's nice. And also the Mayan villagers won't heal. So good, nice quick walls there from Villese. Pushes away the spearman. He was able to do everything he wanted. He even had villagers out there taking that deer. He'll work towards some walls, and he's taken full control here, Dave. We talked about the walls, but it's only because there's a bit of control to start off the game here for Villese. But then again, if MbL's able to get his scouts across the map, he could still deny walls. It'll be a tough task, but it's doable.
Yeah, and Villese is going to have to wait a little while for the archers to build up before he sends them across. MbL taking out the eagle now from Villese. He's taking out another militia while he wasn't paying attention, so that's good from him. He now has some space to work with the full work, and he notices the hole that Villese made his way through in the wood lines, so he's going to wall that off now.
Yep. Good defense from MbL. Also love how many farms he has going up around full works. That's the name of the game with poles. He knows that Villese is working his way towards walls right now. That spearman has actually been worth it, I think, for him. It hasn't killed anything, but it certainly has had an effect. But Villese is 2 villagers walling and has the spearman, and
it's still a unit. Like, it's still annoying, right?
Yeah.
And Villese quick walls the scouts off. There
Is
is
there
a
a
hole at the
hole?
back. No, there's a bamboo. There's a dude, that is an imposter bamboo. Look at this forest.
That is so weird, man. Okay, well, MbL has 3 scouts now. He's working his way towards 4. And Villese says, oh, good, I'm fully walled. It took you that long to do something against me, and I knew it was coming. So here I come with 2 archers, 2 spearmen. This is going to be so awkward. If MbL didn't have villagers that healed, as he almost loses a scout, I think his whole
He should
woodline would be vulnerable.
I think he should, like, maybe wall to the TC and tower in front of the farms there on that full work. Near
Yeah.
the stone and go to stone, honestly. I don't know about adding another farm while this archer army is coming in, but of course, MbL is pretty confident. He's got the archer range. He's got skirmishers coming out. Loves to play with skirms, and he can get food whenever he wants to for the exchange of 60 wood.
Yep. Good
Instant
scouting from
food
MbL.
injection into his eco.
He knew what was coming, and he's making the skirms now. It's so interesting, though. I really like the polls from a playing and casting perspective because the conversation we're having now about them is not similar at all to what we say on Fortified Clearing or Arena or any other maps. Such a unique civ.
He's going to fight this, and MbL is going to clear this all up.
Also
gonna be a
saves
great
the
engagement
villager.
for
That
him.
was very good from him.
He just waited, dude. He waited. He knew that army was going to come in. Villese was going to look for damage, and he just waited to pull the Vills.
It's impressive. Also, Villese continues with more archers, more spearmen. Now the skirmishers will be the answer to that. MbL also didn't have a single upgrade, so being able to defend from this, he's got to be careful still, but being able to push this back without having fletching is very rare. There's just that micro there and using the villagers as a bit of a bait.
Spearmen are pretty weak, too. Has to watch out. Once the spearmen go down, the archers are very vulnerable.
5 seconds of idle time versus 8 seconds of idle time on the TC. That's pretty close, but Scout Skirm, it dominates in Feudal Age. It's just more expensive than other compositions. And
Fletching
MbL's
now
going
coming
forward with 4 Vills right now.
Yeah, well, he's on the stone at the back. He's coming forward with 4. Maybe a tower on the wood line. I don't really see many great places, honestly,
Yeah.
for that tower, but apparently MbL does, and he's going to make things awfully messy. And maybe that, I mean, that could be his game plan against Villese on all these games, right? Just make it as messy as possible.
I think he might go full feudal here. He's still making scouts. I don't think he necessarily has to still make scouts right now, but he is.
Good work. Good work. I saw a game, granted it was Empire Wars. He played against Capwatch the other day, and he got a lead, and then he added like 4 stables in Feudal Age. So he had 5 stable scout production. And the key to doing that, Capwatch was in Castle Age for a very long time. The key to the victory there wasn't just the early damage he got, but was the follow-up with the villagers. And there's the forward stable from MbL.
No
So
way,
MbL is
dude.
going to go full feudal scouts here with the poles. He's going to have enough food, and he's going to have the villagers following up with towers. And that's the key to this whole push. The scouts can't get through the walls, but if you have the vills locking down those positions once you've gained them, it can be extremely strong.
And what I like about it is it does mean that you're going to need a ton of farms. So if you can do that at the same time, I could see it working, but Villese is on the way to Castle Age. He still has archers. The skirms can't get in. And Villese with the house there will buy more time, and he's slowly building up Eagles, Dave. And Eagles will have 7 base attack at the start of Castle Age, plus the Eagles start to produce faster in Castle Age. So Villese just has to defend against this crazy pressure for now.
I think MbL is starting to realize with that good house wall there and the tower defense from Villese that this might not be that. Never mind, he's getting bloodlines. Never mind.
Well, sometimes
He's
you're
going
too
in,
far
dude.
gone, right? Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I've already spent so many resources staying in feudal. If I try and go up to Castle Age now, I'm just gonna lose.
Like, what is that wall from MbL? Why not just wall from the archer range to the end of the map if you're going to do that?
I don't know. I think
I
sometimes
just- I don't
you have to place a wall when you're doing.
Yeah,
like that,
you're just
that
drag it
takes
and
5%
hope.
priority, so he didn't have the time to focus on it because he feels so much pressure to do damage here. I don't know. I feel like Eagles, there's going to be 10 of them soon. Eagles could easily push back this tower. Eagles could obviously dominate the skirms. They'll do the same to the scouts, and
I don't think they'll fully upgraded feudal scouts until you get the eagle upgrades. I don't know.
I think with 7 base attack
I guess
is a
he's
big
gonna
difference.
he's gonna have a significant number advantage too. Scouts
Yeah.
are in.
Gets in, 2 scouts. Going for the weak villager there.
Deadville.
Okay, so that's the second villager kill for
And
him
a second
in the game.
Deadville. That's a weak Ville on the berries.
Ooh, okay.
He goes down.
All right, so this is something. MbL still isn't clicked up. We might see more scouts from him. I see the production. He's also buying himself a ton of time right now. I think Villese needs to just send half his Eagles forward. Try and get to MbL's base. You do not want MbL to stay here forever. The warrior
MbL
on the
does
way.
not have the armor on his scouts yet. So it's 3 more queued. Doesn't have the armor.
Man at arms?
Oh my
Oh.
god, dude. What?
Well, I
He's
think
in on the wood line with the scouts too. He
Yeah.
might be able to kill some more vills here. No, he backs away from that. Interesting.
he's going to lose this other tower. I mean, we love MbL for this, right? The crazy plays. But this is at a point now where I think he feels he hasn't done enough damage and Eagles will own him. So he's going to... He's stuck in feudal, so he's going for man-at-arms. I would honestly have just preferred Stonewall. Just Stonewall your base, because you have the stone, and then keep the Eagles out, and then hope for the best in Castle Age.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. We'll see if he manages to defend. Like, if he does manage to defend, his food eco is going to be insane.
Yeah,
But he doesn't even have the wood to reseed his farms anymore.
yeah, it's just so messy.
And there's the stone walls right there behind this gate.
Just don't see a world where Eagles don't clear everything. They're 17. And it's not like the economy for Villese is bad here. He's got the second TC coming up. Healthy farm eco, healthy amount on gold. He doesn't actually need to kill here. What he needs to do is just boom up. And MbL's still the one who's put himself under all this pressure to do damage. I wonder how this game goes if he just goes with like 4 scouts and the skirms that he had and tries to go Castle Age instead of adding the scouts. Because I feel like his Castle Age time would have actually been fairly decent. Scout
I
play.
think if MbL chooses to send the villagers and scouts to the forward side of Villese's base, this works out a lot better
Maybe.
than
yeah.
that woodline side where there's really nothing over there. And it's a small surface area that you can wall against. Scout's actually taking not a bad engagement against the Eagles, but MbL backs up before he kills that. And the Eagles still can't get in over on the right side. infantry armor coming in from MbL as he has the men-at-arms over in the north. Oh my, this guy is hard committing to feudal. He's still got 2 scouts in the queue, still doesn't have the cavalry armor yet, but the men-at-arms are defending against the Eagles over in the north, and the tower is kind of taking some HP away from those Eagles in the south.
Villese is like, oh, okay, well, I know what I need to do now, and here he comes with some archers.
Yeah.
And this is where the problems come into play. I think if it was Castle Age, you're talking longswords and knights, it's a little bit different, but now Archer Eagle, almost impossible to stop.
Another tower. Like, he's just so hard committed onto this, bro.
Yep. This is potentially a little, like, concerning for MbL fans right now, because he had mentioned to me when casting Villese yesterday versus Capwatch, like, this looks like a rated game at times. And this looks like rated game MbL to me, too, right? Like, he didn't know what to do, full feudal, question maybe the choice of polls. He's trying to stay alive, but...
Villager count is still even.
Yeah,
Actually,
it is.
MbL has the advantage.
It is.
So, I guess there's that. And look, the men-at-arms killed a couple archers.
There you
Scouts
go.
are going to come out here, kill a few more. Crossbow comes in. Eagles killing the scouts, but the tower is up from MbL, and the stone walls are behind this. So MbL maybe is in a position where he can think about just going up to Castle Age. Those Eagles have been really unconcerned about the tower in the south. Like, they're still working away on that house, and they're about to be in. MbL needs to do something about that. Oh, no.
There's just so many areas, and now the Eagles are in. Also, 3 town centers for Villese. MbL's in underneath one of those TCs with scouts. The sneaky move from him there. But the double tower defense next to farms when you're in feudal against Castle Age units never looks so hot here. Pain. Thank God he's poles,
Oh, God.
but
Yeah,
this is painful.
this is not it.
Dave, I
Not
really do not think picking poles on Arabia puts you in a good position to get a victory. I think on a closed map, the civ is bonkers. On an open map, a lot of other choices you could maybe consider to go for. 52 vills for MbL, most of those idle. 57 vills for Villese as he's pumping more out of 3 TCs right now. I think MbL is going to be forced to call. I know he's the cockroach of AoE, right? He can really hold on, but...
Oh, there's no holding on for
there's
this.
no
Not
holding
when
on from
Villese is on 3 TC and he almost has enough stone even for a castle.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a forward castle here. There's literally nothing MbL can do about it. I think it'd be really safe to go for one, actually.
Yeah, defensive, offensive. You could build the castle and then, like, build the castle at a 99.9% and delete it, and I'd still like your position right
God,
now.
those villagers inside the tower for MbL repairing.
Yeah.
What are they doing in there?
Well, he also lost 4 villagers trying to tower at Villese's base a second ago, and now Villese is going to rush down these towers. And I don't know, like, I don't think MbL's tilted. I think he's just trying. I think he knows he's been dead for a long time.
Yep.
But this has definitely reached the point of no return here, so he's going to have to eventually call the GG here. I think Villese played fairly standard, right? He killed, what was it, 2 villagers with a drush? Or was it 1? I forget.
It was one.
Yeah,
It was
1 vill with the drush.
But
played
he
in some
did
walls.
idle a lot. Like, the drush did a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Eagles are into the wood line there. I think that's a GG moment for MbL. My question comes even, the strategy is the strategy, and I can see it working, especially if you get, if Villese doesn't defend correctly against the initial tower push.
Yep.
My question is, like, just staying in feudal for so long, going into the men-at-arms is really questionable.
Yeah.
For me, because what are they actually going to do? Basically nothing. The Eagles can just run away from them.
Exactly.
And
yep.
the Eagles, like, are never just going to hard commit to your base against the men-at-arms. Villese will add eco behind that. So I just wonder, why not Stonewall and then try and make it up to Castle Age? Try and get a castle down. And you still have good food eco.
You had mentioned
It
tower
seems
defense.
weird.
You had mentioned tower defense. MbL had scouts and he had skirms. He never had to go forward with those villagers. I think if he goes into some stone walls and a couple towers on the wood lines, the crossbowman eagle play wouldn't work. He'd have safe economy to maybe play into knights. But again, it's like that's a lot of complicated things. We're talking stonewalling. We're talking towers. That's because you're playing as the poles here. That's because you fell behind against the solid Arabia civilization. So, but yeah, I think like something you had mentioned, the initial tower spot also wasn't very strong. I think if he
pushes at the
farms,
front,
Yeah.
If he pushes at the front, towers the farms, hits that food eco a little bit, forces Villese to engage against that, I think it can be good. Also, like the stable he made over in the front side, it's such an awkward position for reinforcements
Yeah,
as well.
sneaky.
I don't know.
But Velez not allowing MbL to break through initially was huge because he had to just stall for 2 minutes. And I think MbL was hoping that he could break in there and then kill 8 to 10 villagers. So those house walls, I think he only lost 1 villager placing them. That was probably the game changer there for Velez. MbL's final home map will be coming up next, and that is actually on Arena. But we are here, Byzantines versus Britons. And MbL's home map was Arena. First thing Dave said to me was that MbL quote about how he hates Arena, but he picked it here. And
how can people play Arena and
enjoy it?
I hate it.
And we'll cut out a couple of the other things that were said at the tail end of that quote. But yeah, Byzantines, Britons. I mean, I really do think Britons can dominate this matchup. But I said the same when I was talking about Turks versus Byzantines. And if it gets to a point where we have nonstop halbs, nonstop skirms, and probably rams as the Byzantines, there's not many civilizations that can really deal with that.
It just depends what position MbL has, right? If he's going to contest the relics here, Byzantines also, I would favor them in the relic contest. They have a better monk tech tree. Also, their monks heal super quickly, which can actually come into play when you're, a scout v scout or something like that, or trying to keep your monks alive. You can actually out-heal the damage. I think it's close to out-healing the damage from a scout attacking a monk.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. It's not something we really have talked about a lot in the past, but more and more people are taking advantage of that. Also, I don't know if there was a recent change to that, but I've been seeing it a lot over the last 6 months.
It did get buffed about a year and a half ago.
Okay. So maybe it took about a year for people to figure it out, and now I'm seeing it more. Well, we talk about relics a lot on Arena. Do you think we're going to see a situation where neither player contests for relics, or is this just destined to go late game? So you just have to have...
always going to contest for relics.
Yeah,
I think he is Meta Man. That is his superhero title.
I just envisioned Velez in like a superhero costume.
Oh, the underwear over the tights?
Yeah, with his like chest puffed out. Meta Man with a big M on his chest. I could see it. Well, again, I had a conversation with MbL yesterday about it. Now, it was when we were talking against Burgundians, which I think is very different. But I did say with Britons, a straight 4TC boom, which no other civ can really do, into just building up towards Arbalest, Trebs, and winning the game in early imp, I do think is strong. But when Byzantines are so hard to kill, you probably need to have a couple relics because it makes that early window so much more difficult.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like if the game goes super late and you're relying on that relic gold, you've lost already against Byzantines.
I get that, yeah. Yeah, dude, I would love to see MbL go straight boom. I told him yesterday that it was strong, and then he disagreed, and then we talked more, and then he, like, still kind of disagreed, but maybe had it in his mind. I don't know.
Yep. He did that thing where he initially called you an idiot, and then he reconsidered it, and then he framed it like it was his idea.
Yeah, well, so you know what he did was I was like, yeah, I think immediate 4TCs for getting relics can be strong. And he says, well, I tried that against Nikov. And I was like, no, you didn't. I was like, you started
No, you didn't. You had the worst
and
build
then you
ever.
went barracks, and then you went monastery. He's like, oh, yeah. So...
Selective memory, dude. I remember that cast because we were both talking to each other like, what the hell is he doing? This build is so bad.
Yep. Yeah, it's like he had the right thing in his mind, and then he switched his goals. And maybe that's an issue for MbL today because, like, the previous game, he was a little all over the place. Game 2 was a little all over the place as well.
I can, somewhere in the west coast of Canada, I can hear Slam being very satisfied with that lumber camp that Villese just placed.
Oh, dude, we're all satisfied.
Yeah, I know. It's just so
amazing.
Nice, isn't it? I know.
You can chop. I'd have to count them, but you could chop like a dozen trees here, and then
many trees.
Still, it's a good first lumber camp at that point. You have all those trees on the side. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, so here's the other thing. So here's a counterpoint to what I'm saying about the straight TC with Britons. If your TCs are cheap, you can also justify going for the stable play to compete for relics and adding TCs faster than Byzantines. So I think the safe play is probably to still do that. But I don't know. MbL, if he goes 24 pop, I think this is straight boom. He's
Not
gonna
a bad
go.
mining camp from MbL too. He could, if he wanted to get the stone for the extra TC, he could actually mine it
True.
to there. Wouldn't be the worst thing instead of buying it.
25 pops pretty fast, but I think if it was straight boom and no relic contest, that MbL would most likely be even faster there. So we'll have to keep an eye out. Then again, he's got 7 on wood. Make it 8 on wood. He's now also sent a villager to stone. It is a boom build! I got to him! Now watch him lose, and then he's going to blame me. But
yeah,
let's go. But back to your point, Dave. Like, if it gets to a point where relics matter, aren't Byzantines just the better civ than Britons in late game?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that happen yesterday against Turks, who should technically have more options than the Britons do against Byzantines, and it just didn't pan out.
MbL should have the food. He will be in feudal age a bit faster. The expectation for Villese is that he will add a barracks soon. That barracks will probably be built around 60% of the way up. Then likely a stable. There's his barracks. I'm glad he pushed that away a bit more.
This time on the adventures of Metaman. Scouts to contest relics.
So in the game yesterday, we had Nikov versus Doubt. And we had Nikov going Spearman. And he didn't add any scouts. And then Doubt went double monastery and a stable, right? And Nikov used his starting scout to kill 4 monks from Doubt. His starting scout got insane value. And now that's an extreme example. I wouldn't say that MbL has to do that. But that's the starting scout that we're looking at for MbL. That's pretty much all he's going to have to contest relics. So if he can get a monk or two, I think it's going to make it super worth it to go straight boom here.
I love how you say, I don't think MbL has to do that, as if like that's a planned part of the build.
Yeah,
I'm
know.
Go up 25 population, you know, then I'm going to snipe 4 of his monks and everything's going to work out.
Yeah, I guess like my point was you have to get value, because the worst part about going straight boom is the fact that Villese doesn't have to invest thousands and thousands of gold into making endless monks like a lot of people do in normal relic wars. And then he also might not even make many scouts. So you want him to make as much as possible to get those relics. And you could also consider just adding a monastery to try and snag 1 or 2. But I actually don't like that, because that delays your TCs, and your opponent's going to have scouts to deny that.
I wonder if Villese is reading this. I wonder if he's reading this here. If he doesn't add any scouts, then he's just invested into the barracks stable.
Yeah.
And then he's going to go for the monastery. And that would be really smart. I think he's going to add some as soon as he has the food for it. He went for Horse Collar first, probably goes for double bit axe, and then adds the scouts later.
Yeah. I think
But
he'll
if
add
he
3.
forgoes doing that, then that could be huge for him, honestly.
Okay, so Britain TCs, they're what, like 120 wood? Something
They're
crazy?
cheap.
So I'm wondering where MbL will place them. Certainly one on the left wood line, maybe one on the right wood line in the gold.
One on the golden stone.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He won't have the stone just yet to be able to make... He needs 10 more
No,
stone.
he will. He will, yeah.
Yeah, the timing might be perfect, actually.
Calculated.
That mining camp, though, is so satisfying. It's perfect for what he wants right now.
It is. We got the satisfying lumber camp, satisfying mining camp. The gold on the wood line there for MbL is nice for a TC as well.
All right, let's see. Also, will MbL go for the wood and farm upgrade? How greedy does he get here? We talked about this with MbL yesterday. Boom, boom, boom. Immediate 4 TC.
Dude, I literally just predicted seconds before he put them down every single TC location. I know it's not hard. At 3 for 3. That's pretty nice.
There were 3 good guesses, and you got all 3.
But 3 for 3, though. I mean,
like, okay, now tell me
3.
where else you would have placed a TC, though. Like, seriously.
Well, he could have placed it even further in that wood line to the left instead of along the wood line.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I'll pat you on the back. Sorry, I shouldn't have taken away your glory there. All right, so now Villese has to know something's up, right? Because he doesn't see any scouts moving around. He's looked. He doesn't see a monastery. I do like how
MbL hasn't even left with his scout. Yeah, he's not shown him anything.
Yep. Also, the market's pretty far back. I don't know if this is intentional, but Villese could only see the blacksmith, and that could easily be stable blacksmith, which is what Villese did. Now Villese goes for the TCs. But again, MbL is recognized to have to win this early.
Dude, this Vill lead is going to be really, really big.
I guess later we can talk about army comp. But another thing that MbL's done, though, which is perfect, because immediate 4TC is a little tough, is he actually had villagers on gold and he just bought some food just to get the next batch of vills out.
Dude, that's the key to a 4TC boom is buying food.
But why did he go back to stone? Don't tell me he wants to go 5 TCs. I think 5 TCs is too much, even though it's cheap.
No, I think he wants to go 4TC and then get a castle up relatively early.
Maybe. All right, so relics do bring in gold. MbL still hasn't moved out with his scout. I'm surprised. I would like to see him move out at some point to try and snipe monks. I mean, your scout is as good as dead right now anyways, so...
Think about the investment that Villese has done. 175 for the barracks, 175 for the stable, 175 wood for the monastery, 200 gold for the monks, and then we got 2 scouts as well behind this. So that's a lot of resources invested from Villese.
And he spent
it's like almost 1,000 res invested from Villese.
I don't know if you said this in your in tallying it up, but he's also spent like 500 more wood to add the TCs. So is my math right on that? Not 500 more wood, but a lot more wood.
No,
and
like
MbL has one more TC.
More wood.
Yeah, there's like 150 difference in TC. I mean, yeah. So like, let's just say 300 wood more. So okay, so now Villese should know that this is straight boom for MbL. But now MbL moves out with the scout. I like if he can kill a monk now. This is going to be the best time to surprise Villese because Villese is like, wait, what? I can just move my monks out
Villese
freely.
is following the monk with his scout. Look at that.
Yeah. Both of them, actually. He uses the guard mode. That's funny. Well, that monk is going to go down. So that's something for MbL.
He's going to bring this scout back. Although I don't think the scout will make it back. Nope. Villese is going to clear that up. Villager lead is 10 right now for MbL. It's going to keep climbing because it's got 4 TCs. Still has 6 vills queued up. And the food eco is looking really hot for him as Villese adds in some more farms now.
This is going to work, man. We are so right. I'm so glad that MbL is doing this. I mean, watch us not be right. I think this is a great play. I think people forgot about this because everyone was playing into light cav with like Burgundians and whatnot, and it was how to solve the Burgundians, and you can't get Burgundians relics. But Villese only has 2 relics, right? 1 relic. That's it. He's about to get 2. He'll eventually have all 5, but he has not benefited from this yet.
I'll tell you exactly how many resources have been paid back to him so far.
Okay.
69
Nice.
gold. Oh, 74 now.
Oh, you picked the right
that
time.
initial investment. There we go.
MbL getting wheelbarrow on a 4 TC boom. This is pretty much standard. Right around 60, 70 vills. Use that starting, or any TC, just to research wheel. Castle Age farm upgrade coming in as well now. And I guess this is going to be castle on the front for MbL. Like, he might want to go for a castle as his building to go up to the next stage instead of going for monastery and university or whatever. And then he'll make units, move out across the map, and maybe go for another castle. But Byzantines have a cheaper Imperial Age. They also have very cheap units. They have a very good late game as we see TC number 4 for Villese. So much
40
later than
farmers
MbL.
already for MbL too, with heavy plowing.
Yep.
Really good food eco back there. He needs that castle in a good spot as Villese comes forward with a villager here. Is he gonna like lame the golds or something, or is he gonna drop an outpost? Yeah, just to give himself some idea. MbL now going for a monastery of his own.
Weird timing on that.
Well, he needed another castle age building.
Yeah, I guess the Siege Workshop is not something you're going to use too much, but I would prefer to go Siege Workshop and University. But yeah, he's doing both of those things. And he'll be clicking up soon. And Villese wants to know exactly what's going to be made here. There is a world where you could open... If your opponent expects archers and they go straight skirms, you could open light cap. But
yeah, maybe. But Villese is getting the outposts up, so he's going to know that that's coming. He wants to see what MbL is up to. And with Byzantines, those outposts will literally see everything.
Yeah.
Those things are stupid good.
Also, MbL doesn't know that there's outposts, which is an important thing to note here. He cannot see them at all. Also, there's the barracks for MbL. MbL is going to drop the ranges, and it's right where Villese can see it. Yep.
Yep.
What do you think about
But
that 4
MbL
QC
is
from
going
Villese? I like it.
ranges, but he's getting scale barding armor. Is he making ranges to let Villese know
No.
at the front
no,
because
no,
of that
no,
scout
no,
that
no.
Villese is? Why is he going scale barding?
I don't understand scale barding.
And he's building stables in the back.
God, maybe he
No
is.
way is he actually mind gaming this. He sees
No
the scout
way.
there from Villese. There's no way, dude. MbL.
No, he's gonna make
okay,
archers
he's queuing
too.
up archers.
Yeah.
All right.
Like we can't cause 3 ranges just to mind game is too much. But if you're worried about skirm and your archers are your best unit, it does make sense to maybe make light cav with it.
Yeah.
That's funny though.
There's
He's
another
hiding the
stable.
stables for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's definitely thinking about hiding it. But I think he'll make units out of both.
Oh, but Villese sees the stable from that outpost over there.
No way.
Dude, that and Byzantines, man.
But again,
Byzantines.
MbL does not know the outposts are there, right? So he thinks it's just the scout. He doesn't have vision on the outposts. So he might be thinking like he's going for this crazy strat, but he doesn't even have a crossbow yet. So MbL is going to take some time to build up his numbers. And we have skirms for Villese because he saw the ranges. It still makes a lot of sense. He's also dropping a very forward castle, and it's just defense for the Byzantines now. See if MbL can kill. He's definitely on a bit of a timer. You seem to think like 40 minutes is the time where like, okay, relics are definitely paying off.
Yeah. Well, that's the time around where your main gold will run out, and you're going to have to stretch out for those secondaries. It's going to be a problem. We got skirmishers already ready. Second armor upgrade is coming here from Villese. He's got 14 skirms in the queue, as MbL will find this, and MbL is going to try and get a forward castle down somewhere. It doesn't have the stone, though. Only 5 on stone right now. And is now sending the scouts out with light cav on the way.
This is pretty sloppy. You don't have light cav yet. You just got fletching. You don't have ballistics. Like, I feel like MbL would have wanted a bigger pounce here, but he's moving forward anyways before light cav. He will kill the scout from Villese. And Villese just wisely moves right back to the castle.
Still doesn't have loom, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed that. Bracer on the way. Man, this timing from Villese is crucial. He was an imp so fast. Still has a really good economy. But there's MbL's first trebuchet. I think what MbL wants is he wants a castle next to...
Oh, he needs
his trap
castle
push.
forward.
Yeah, he needs
he
that
needs
fast.
castle forward. You can't be fighting engaging in the middle of the map against Byzantines with Britons. You can't. You need a forward position. And you need to be just fighting them in one spot.
He's going to come forward here in a bit for sure. He's got to make sure he gets loom. He's catching up on his archer upgrades, but he does have full armor and 1 attack upgrade on the light cav, which will mean Villese is going to have to switch into something else. And Villese is going for crossbow. And I like that addition, as that monk is healing that skirmisher like insane. But I like the addition because you already have ranged upgrades, and I think trying to switch into halves would take way too long.
Treb is moving over to the right side now. MbL might actually be able to snipe that monastery with the relics in it, which would be funny.
It's weird how he's not going for the castle. It feels like that would be the target. He comes forward with his castle now.
Byzantine castles stay up forever, though. Maybe
Yeah.
you just push on the other side. You hold them off with the light cap so you can get the castle up. He still doesn't have loom, by the way, on his vills. Don't think he realizes that.
Yeah, still
this
doesn't have
castle can be
arbalest.
Denied, and the light cab number, well, there's more on the way. Can delay the skirmishers, but right now, Villese is just pushing in, trying to hunt down those crossbows, and now he's trying to deny the castle. He sees no loom, killing a lot of villagers very, very quickly with those skirms.
He can make a lot of skirmishers
will
too.
Go up, maybe no. Castle will be denied. MbL.
Get loom, man. He'll get it up. He'll get the castle up.
And he's got 3 trebs, and now this is going to be a momentum push here for MbL. He's
Warwolf.
got 3 trebs on this side. Warwolf coming in. The monastery will go down first.
He might actually take the gate. But no, it goes for the
I think
monastery.
Monastery is so easy to kill here, and you instantly deny 5 relic income.
Villese actually manually ejected the relics to the back because he knows sometimes they can pop forward when this happens. Yep, so a couple of them
Capped
pop
ram.
forward.
Capped ram incoming here from Villese. Also has 1 bombard cannon there. MbL without any villagers there to repair immediately.
Warwolf.
Trebs are trying to take this out. Werewolf is in, but the bombard cannon is squirrely.
The Arb should be getting this here. With Yeoman coming in, MbL will want to use the Arbalest against the cannon, but Villese backing away so nicely. MbL will be forced to repair. Meanwhile, the monks are going to try and take the relics into the back of the base. MbL on a bit of a timer. There's the bomber cannon. Now Yeoman's in, and now the bomber cannons should go down. Well played, MbL.
MbL needs like another castle forward. He needs a lot of repair villagers here. A lot of repair villagers. If this castle goes down, you're in a world of hurt.
Well, he needs his trebs on the opponent's trebs. Like, when you research Warwolf, that's what your goal is to win the treb war. And so I think he's going to try and do that here, but he's running dangerously low on stone at the moment. Here he comes with his trebuchets now. If he wasn't Britons, he would be in a real world of hurt right now.
Yep.
I feel like this castle has to stay up for MbL to have a good opportunity. The trebs are going to go now. There will be no repair villagers on the trebs, but I think MbL's castle falls.
It goes down. It goes
he just
down.
makes another one.
Dude, he just buys another one.
He
Straight
says,
up.
who cares?
Look at the populations right here. 187 for MbL. He's going to use that castle for housing space there. His Arbalest mass is looking very deadly right now. He's got 29 of them with the full range.
Also just
and there's still only one relic inside the... And it's not even inside the monastery. Villese is not even taking advantage of his 5 relic lead. And now he's walling behind those 2 relics in front.
MbL will get more stone now. Now MbL can try to send some light cav in and start to raid. It'd be really annoying, but Villese is building a big mass. If you look at his production of siege workshops on the left, Dave, tons of skirms, tons of arbs, always in queue. His population's still good. And siege ram's a killer against the Britons.
You'll see the siege ram from a long way away. Werewolf will trying to work away on these skirms. He needs to pull the light cav back for those siege ram. Needs to pull the light cap back. Needs to get the trebs working away on that skirm mass, too. He's trying to go for the trebs from Villese. No, they're working on the skirms. Okay.
Okay, yeah, here come the light cap. Now, the light cap, this is crucial because they almost broke in, so he had a decision to make. Villese had house walled them out.
Dude.
But he's defending it, yeah. But can he kill Villese? Like, MbL needs to be pushing. I don't see MbL pushing just yet. That's the worry I have for him.
So many siege rams, oh my god.
Yeah, it's a lot of siege rams. And Britons don't get Hussar, guys. And I think the crucial thing for Villese has been he always has an arb ball behind the skirms, so the light cav are going down. And choo-choo, here come the rams. This could be the series here, Dave. The production from Villese is crazy. He's got 60 army. It's 42 army for MbL. Also 1,000 gold in the bank for Villese. Byzantines, man. Whether it's the relics, whether it's just how good they are in general, who knows?
Yep.
But they are looking unstoppable so far in the round of 12 onwards.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. Look at MbL's resources. They're simply not there. He's now selling a bunch of wood so he can buy some more stone. Remember, he bought himself that castle. He's going to buy another castle at the back there.
MbL, this would be it for him. He would not get his Red Bull ticket that he most likely, I think it's a guarantee, would not get his Red Bull ticket from this. Obviously won his group, remember. He was first place in Group D. Beat so many big names. Villese was second in his group. But Dave, Villese's production is unreal. He's got so many archery ranges, so many siege workshops.
Yep.
For MbL, I think that's the big thing.
Housed again. Okay, now he gets the castle up, but it's about to go down. It's about to go down again. And Villese is already making a tech switch here. Or just getting the text while he can into Halberdier.
But now, like, let's say MbL stabilizes this, takes out the Trebs and the Rams. It's advantage Byzantines in the long term, and it's always advantage for the player who has the relics. And both of those belong to Villese right now. So we'll see.
Siege Ram is just the Briton killer.
Yeah.
It is. It continues to be the Briton killer. Maybe you could say MbL should go into Onager, but his resources, like, he just doesn't have the capability for that. He's got to keep spamming light cav here with this food. He can't be putting it into attack.
Yeah, this was his comp. I think the Werewolf Trebuchets, not saving that initial castle, was a big blunder for MbL. And I didn't realize it until now, but I also think the lack of production buildings has hurt him. Only 4 ranges. Villese has 10. Only like 4 stables for a while here.
It's over.
And this is over. This will be the end for MbL. Les will move on to face the Viper in the semifinals, man.
Big shots, though.
Big shots. Just some highlights there, I guess. Trebs going down are not nearly satisfying, but the Trebs are going down to Rams right now. Poles, Dave. Poles on Arabia. I didn't mind this choice. With what he had left, I think Britons
I think the
nice choice
strategy
here.
honestly was really good, and against a lot of other players it might have worked. Villese though had a really sick build here with Byzantines, really sick. And Byzantines is like one of the worst civs I think you can try this strategy against.
Yep. Byzantines destroying the Turks yesterday against 5 relics in a crazy game. And now we've got destroying the Britons, which in most people's eyes are still like that top 5 pick potentially on Arena. MbL's got no gold to mine. He's unable to mine the gold outside of his base because there's a castle there for Villese. And just kind of waiting for MbL to call it now. This is definitely him showing that this means so much to him and that this is going to be the final game for him if he loses. He doesn't want to call it just yet.
I think once that castle goes down, you have to.
Yeah, exactly. And if he doesn't, I'm sure the Siege Rams are going to roll into town and end the game pretty quickly. For such
Siege Ram switch was so quick from Villese too. He got the production on the skirms up, and then he waited until he had like 12 Siege Rams to push out. It was
also,
crazy.
I think with that row of houses in the back of his base, he deserves to win. You don't see that every day. Just casual block of houses there. This house is
it's so
amazing.
Oh my god, it's so orderly.
Yeah, right? Rest of his eco is not bad either.
Werewolf?
Oh,
he just missed.
okay. Trying to get excited now, trying to act like there's a chance for MbL, but when he does not have golds against Byzantines with all the golds, it's not going to cut it here. He is selling wood now so he can get archer armor.
I mean, his skirms do have more range.
The problem
He
is
does
the
have better
siege rams.
skirms.
Yeah, like anything you use to take out the siege rams just dies to everything behind it. It's such a good tanky unit against Britons. Been saying it for a decade now, right? Like siege ram is the Briton killer, whether it's Mayans with siege ram combined with their archers, the Byzantines, just skirm siege ram in general, or halb skirm. Obviously,
MbL's about to lose his power unit here. One Treb.
lost it. Yeah, Les probably.
And now Arbalists are in on the backside too, on MbL's eco.
Yeah, I think
Right
Villese
in through that wood line.
Villese is aware he's won this game, obviously. He's just taking it easy, chilling out. He doesn't have to go in for the kill. He can just slowly wear MbL down. But, man, 9 Rams. He made a lot of Siege Rams in this game. It's definitely been the key for him. Well, Dave, we knew after Villese won against Capwatch yesterday that it would be tough. MbL casted that with me, and there were back and forth moments in that series because he was like, oh my god, am I playing Capwatch tomorrow? Because Capwatch kept going and ended up being Villese. And Villese wins 3-1 here in the second quarterfinal. MbL with the GG. I believe GZ is congrats. Is that what that? I don't know.
GZ, good luck, maybe? Maybe did he mean to type? Z is nowhere near L. Never mind.
I don't know, but Villese did say thanks. So clearly Villese understands.
Grats. Yeah, I guess.
Villese looked very strong here, Dave. And again, strategically sound every single game. Obviously, game number 1, I think his Civ choice was good. Maybe his strategy wasn't strategically sound there, actually, because he got brutalized. But think about what that can do to you. You get destroyed in a 17-minute game in game 1 in a quarterfinal. That could affect a lot of people's mentality, but he just said nope. And he responded against some wacky plays from MbL in game 2 and 3, and then here finishes it off in game 4. I know Viper's Viper, but I honestly feel like a Villese Viper semifinal is going to be pretty solid because he's just not making a lot of mistakes.
Yeah. MbL tried to punish the tendencies from Villese here too with the aggressiveness in that second game. He did in the first game, big time. And the aggressiveness in the third game too. This one, I don't think, like, people are going to look back at this and say, oh, you let him get all the relic. I don't think it was that bad. I think even if you take the relics and you split them 2 to 3, you're still up against Byzantines.
Yeah,
and your
I
eco
agree.
is the same as them. I think this Civ matchup is just really tough for MbL, Britons against Byzantines. I don't think the strategy really has a fundamental flaw in it. We can look at the relic gold collected. It's only 2,700.
But also,
you can say that's a lot, but like,
that was probably like 1,300 when it all mattered, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
A lot of the resources that Villese brought in over the last 10 minutes, we should forget about. I think for MbL, he so badly wanted to break in and take away those relics, but And it's tricky against Byzantines. But the second you get Warwolf, your focus has to be on defending your castle there, taking out those
Maybe.
trebuchets, and then pushing that area. Again, the other thing that Villese did that I think was so smart was when he saw Lightcap, instead of adding barracks, which is additional production buildings, which cost tons of wood, he simply just teched into ARBs. And so he had 8 production buildings, and then MbL, who wanted to go for a combination, at one point had like 3 stables, 3 ranges, and he had to get different techs, right? He had to get ranged, and he had to get the cav tech. So I think Velese's production is what saved the game for him. But also, maybe we'll see Byzantines banned more. Like, holy crap, this Civ looks really strong on a variety of different maps.
I think my theory just keeps holding up, honestly.
Yeah.
My theory just keeps... There's such a good counter civ. They're such a good counter civ, and they're not good enough to be banned. That's the thing, right?
Yep.
Like, they're not OP in really any map. They're just a really solid level, and your opponent is constantly thinking, like, what happens if this gets late game? It forces your opponents into some risky maneuvers, honestly.
I guess we'll see. Players have had different approaches with their picks and bans. But we have 2 more quarterfinals. Next up is going to be Vinchester versus Nikov. And then after that, to end the day, we're going to have Hera versus Jordan. I think we'll have about 10 minutes, Dave, to get things set up. And then we'll get into that next series. Sound good?
That sounds good to me.
All right, cool. I'll keep you updated on Discord in case there's any delays there. But I'll see you soon.